Readers, last night I was on the phone with my best friend. She has a little boy, and they had just gotten home from the circus. And she had the funniest story to tell me. And I thought you'd all really want to hear it. Do you really want to hear it?
Yes.
Yeah. When they were at the circus, all the clowns came out. You can picture that, right? You can see them all over the place with their big feet and their big wigs and their face paint and their silly clothes. And her son is leaning forward in his chair and he's looking at them, and all of a sudden he points and he goes, "Look, Mom, a urinal." And she's like, "What? What is he talking about?" And then she realized, you know what he really meant? Unicycle. That's what he really meant. The clowns were riding a unicycle. Right? And so she goes, "Oh, I think what you really meant to say was a unicycle." Right? Now you're wondering, why am I telling you that story? Other than it was just really funny, right? But it kind of reminded me of what happened this morning with David. Remember when I said this morning when we were going over our schedule, right? I said, we've got a really ambitious schedule today. And the first thing you said was, what does ambitious mean? Right? That in life, there are lots of unfamiliar words all around us, aren't there?
Yes.
Okay? We hear people use them or we see them in text, and we could be the kind of people who just kind of ignore that, right?
Yes.
Or we could be the kind of people who go, wait, what might that mean? How might I use that? And we could try it. We can grow our own vocabulary. And I started thinking a lot. We've been reading more complex books, haven't we?
Yes.
And in those books, one of the first things you guys all said is, "Oh my goodness, the vocabulary is so hard. There's so many tricky words." And I thought, this is one of those moments. We could just read past them, or we could use this as an opportunity to grow our own vocabulary. So readers, we want to grow our own vocabularies, don't we?
Yes.
So today I'm going to teach you that when you get to unfamiliar words or when you get to new vocabulary, you don't just plow past it. Instead, you try to figure out what it means. And you can do this by looking in and around the word. So let's just think for a second. What do I mean by looking in and around the word? Well, when you're looking in the word, you might think, are there any parts here that could help me figure it out? Are there root words or suffixes or prefixes that might give me a little bit of a clue? And then when we're looking around the word, we might be thinking, what do we picture? What's happening? Does it feel positive or negative? What type of word is it, right? Is it an object? Is it an action? Is it a describing word? So I thought I'd show you a little bit of this work. What do you think?
Yes.
Okay. You know we've been studying weather. Okay. I'm going to go back to a part of the weather book. Life under pressure. And as I read this, okay, I'm going to be thinking, are there like new words? Or maybe it's a word I've heard before, but I don't know what it means in this context, right? Okay? And I'm going to stop and I'm going to think, what might that mean? And I'm going to look in the word and around the word. Here we go. Life under pressure. Feel that? Here on Earth, the air presses against us with a force of about 15 pounds per square inch. Now wait a second. I'm already thinking for a minute. Life under pressure. I haven't even gotten very far, right? Now, that's a word I've heard before, but what does that word mean here? Well, let me look in the word. What do I see in the word? In the word, I see press. Do you guys see that?
Yes.
Right? And I'm thinking about like when you press against something, right? When you like press against a heavy door, you're kind of putting some force on it, aren't you?
Yes.
So what does it mean, like life under pressure? Like what force? I should look around it, shouldn't I? Yeah, let me read that sentence again. Feel that? Here on Earth, the air presses against us with a force of about 15 pounds per square inch. So it's like, so the air is the force that's pressing on us. So pressure, so life under pressure, it means like there's an air force there. There's an air force pushing against us. That's new. I didn't know that before. I don't think I've ever used pressure that way, but I probably could now, couldn't I?
Yes.
Yeah. Readers, did you see how I did that? Did you see how I read and I thought, wait a second, this is a word that's either new or maybe I've heard it, but not in this context, right?
Yeah.
And I thought, well, what does it mean here? And to help me do that, I had to look in the word for parts that would help, and then I had to look around the word. Are you guys ready to try this?
Yes.
We're gonna keep reading Life Under Pressure. When you guys find a word that's new, or maybe it's a word you've heard before, but you're thinking, oh, what does that mean in this context? I want you to give me a thumbs up. You ready? Warm them up. Get them ready to go. Here we go. You can't really feel atmospheric pressure, but it does play a role in weather prediction. Oh, some thumbs already went up. Some thumbs already went up. So friends, right now with your neighbor, what phrase is it that's new or that you've heard but not in this context? What might it mean? Look in and around the words. Go ahead, turn and talk. Turn and talk.
Like so probably the whole Earth is a sphere. So how about what do you think? Atmospheric. You said the Earth is a sphere.
Atmospheric pressure would be like earth pressure, right?
Yes.
You guys are going to share that, okay?
So atmosphere is a shape, and a sphere is a shape, and
Readers,
is like
eyes on me.
at that.
Go ahead, share out what you guys were saying.
Me and Raphael said that we know sphere, and at that, and the sphere is a circle with a 3D shape. So we thought we thought that was the sky and space, and then Raphael said sphere, he thinks that it's the world, because the world is a 3D shape instead of just flat.
Right. So atmospheric pressure, that was like, all of us we've never heard that before, have we? That was hard. That was some new vocabulary. But they broke it down and they looked at atmos and they looked at sphere and they said, oh, it's like an earth sphere, right? So it's like the pressure that's in the earth sphere. They could use this now, couldn't they?
Yes.
Now they have a whole new phrase, as I'm sure many of you do too, am I right?
Yes.
So readers, today, some of you may be continuing in the books you started yesterday. Some of you may be ready for a new book. Whatever you're reading, there's probably going to be a lot of new words. Or maybe some vocabulary that you've heard before, but not in this context. And when you see that, remember you've got an important choice to make. You could be the kind of reader who just pushes right past. Or you could say, wait, this is a moment where I can grow my own vocabulary. And you can stop and you can figure that out. You can look in the word. You can look around the word. Okay. Group 1, off you go.